What's up guys? Today I'm going to talk about competition prep. I feel like a lot of people have the misconception that competition prep is just like 60 weeks of chicken and rice and training hard and not drinking alcohol. And I wanted to go over how I have done my competition prep in the past, how I'm doing this one. I'm currently 7 weeks out from Body Power. In May I'm going to be competing at the WBFF there in the category fitness. When I was thinking of competing, I would have loved somebody to tell me these things just so I kind of knew what to expect. So let's get started. Okay, so a competition prep diet is designed to help you drop fat without losing muscle. Prep is usually between 12 and 16 weeks. I did a 12-week prep last time and this time I'm doing 16 weeks. There's loads of factors as to why you would pick a 12-week or a 16-week or however many week cut, depending on what your body fat is at. If you're already at a really low body fat, then you might want to do a shorter cut. If your body fat's higher, you might want to do a longer cut. For me, the reason I did a 12-week cut the first time is literally because I didn't decide to do the show until we were like 13 weeks out. And then I was like, oh, maybe I could do this. And then I did. So that wasn't really a pre-planned thing that I did a 12-week cut. It was just all the time that I had. A competition prep takes place in stages. Basically, you want to keep your carbs as high as you can for as long as possible while still dropping fat at an adequate rate. Your carbs can be tweaked here and there to find the optimum balance for you. Hence why these diets are so strict and regimented, because this means you can see exactly what you've eaten and how it's affected you. Remember that carbs are your muscle's energy source. Protein may be the building blocks for your muscles, but carbs are going to provide your energy to train and to keep your muscles full. If you drop your carbs too low, you may go into catabolism, which is when your body is breaking down tissue and you can start to lose muscle, which you do not want. During your prep, you're going to drop your calories at some point, sometimes more than once. For me, I've kept the same calories from week 1 till week 8. And then last week, at the beginning of week 9, we drop my calories then. So when you drop your calories, you probably won't be sacrificing any calories from protein. You'll be most likely sacrificing calories from carb, possibly some fat. At this stage, I also cut out dairy, so no milk in my coffee or in my oats, which is probably like my two hardest things. I didn't even used to make my whole oats with milk. I just used to put the tiniest little bit in because it just makes it so creamy, and now with just water, it just doesn't taste the same. I can't tell a difference. My black coffee over here. Actually, I'm kind of grown to like black coffee now. No, that's all I have. At this stage, I also cut out sauces. Apart from, I still use the low salt and low sugar tomato ketchup because, yeah, I need it for now. But that's all I use, and I use it really, really sparingly. My calories will probably come down again at like 4 weeks out, and this will depend on what I look like at this stage, but probably around 4 weeks. And drop some more carbs at that point as well. And at that stage, I will cut out all sauces and all things that aren't whole foods. So sweeteners in my coffee, those little jelly pots that I like, they're full of sweeteners. That's all pretty much all they're made of. Xylene juice, diet soda, whey protein, and I'll be on a 100% whole food diet. This is mainly just so that you know exactly what's in what you're eating. I think that labeled food is, there's like regulations that they have to meet for the labels, and like their margin for error on each thing is like quite high. I can't remember what it is. I don't want to say a number because then I'll get like hundreds of comments of people like, this is wrong, because YouTube is like really, really mean social media platform. But it's quite a high margin for error. So the protein content of these things can actually be off by like quite a lot. And whereas if you're eating whole foods, then these can't really be altered. You kind of know exactly what you're putting in your body. Another thing to note about competition prep is water intake. So you will be drinking a shitload of water. Probably like a gallon, which is like 4 liters a day. And another thing that some people do ignore, I think, is sodium levels. So keeping your salt intake low. I definitely do watch this because I am really sensitive to salt. Like if I have a really salty meal, I will wake up in the morning and I'll have like swollen fingers and swollen face, and you'll be able to see. So like my coach, if I do that, like he will just be like, look at your face, you have cheat meal written all over your face. So I could never ever go off my diet and not tell him anyway, which I wouldn't do because ultimately you're just sacrificing your own competition prep, nobody else's. So there you go. But yeah, so sodium levels controls your water retention. So the more salt, the more water you will retain, and then your fluid levels will be irregular. And the more regular you can keep your fluids, the more accurate your measurements and your like visuals, like your photos and stuff are gonna be. So that is why. There might be other reasons too, I don't know. Any input, please feel free to put down below. Okay, so most competitors, me included, will measure progress each week. This is usually done, if you have an online prep coach, this will be done with like a weekly check-in. So you'll send photos, like front, back, side. You'll have your weight, your waist measurement usually, and maybe your body fat if you have the means of measuring that. I think that some people just do photos and completely ignore all the numbers, which is kind of cool, I think. I quite like to do that because my numbers aren't that great, but I feel like I look different. But yeah, this brings me back to how important it is to stick to your diet, because if your prep coach thinks that you have been sticking to a certain diet and you actually haven't, and then your measurements aren't what they want, then they're going to change your diet based on that. And then you can end up with a diet that is not ideal for you at that stage at all. As for cardio, this varies a lot. I've seen people do competition preps with pretty much no cardio until the very end. I've seen some people do really, really high cardio the whole way through. It is completely subjective to the person. This prep, I started off with 15 minutes high intensity each day. At 8 weeks out, we added in 45 minutes low intensity, fasted in the mornings. So that started to increase. I don't know what we'll put it to. We might keep it at that. We will see. I personally think that I react really, really well to fasted cardio. So I am keeping that in this time for sure. Looking back to my last prep, I think I finished up doing an hour of fasted in the morning and half an hour of high intensity at night. And it was a lot, I'm not gonna lie. But I was kind of chasing myself on that last cut with it only being 12 weeks and stuff. So that's just how it worked out. Finally, peak week. This is your week before the show. Some competitors I know just ignore this completely and just continue with what they've been doing. This can be for a few reasons, like they might want to avoid having a worse rebound, because if you cut water and cut calories really low at the end, then your rebound after the show is likely to be worse than it would have been otherwise. Or they may just feel like they don't need to. They may feel like they're already in the level of conditioning that they want to be and they don't want to do anything extra to potentially ruin that or have a negative effect on that. So in peak week, the main three things that people will manipulate are carbs, water levels, and sodium to look like as cut and as full as possible when they step out on stage. As for sodium levels, I didn't do that last time. Didn't do anything with sodium at all, but did manipulate my water and my carbs. So we had a low carb week before the show, and then the day before the show I had a pretty high carb day. I think I had maybe like 300 grams of carb. So that was like a kind of pre-show carb up. And then the day of the show, I had some carbs in the form of rice cakes on the day of the show. This time I'm gonna do something similar, but I want to have less carbs on the day of the show because I feel like they had too much of a effect on me and I kind of spilled over slightly, not massively, but I just felt like I looked kind of better the night before than I did on stage, which was kind of annoying for me. But these competition preps are totally trial and error. You just don't know how your body's going to react until you try something. So it's a learning curve. I learned from that, and this time I know that that's what I'm going to do differently.
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, godlike feature that only the special among us will ever taste. You know, it's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. And if I have missed anything or you have any questions, then comment down below or email me. If you guys want any help with your own competition preps, your macros in general, then give me an email and I'll put the email up on the screen. And I'll see y'all in the next one.